Hello and good evening. Welcome everybody on this presentation tonight. Welcome Bill, our founder and CEO, onto the call tonight as well. And my name is Claudia Eifert, and for all the new people on the call here today, welcome to you. Welcome to your Canadians who just had your Thanksgiving yesterday. So congratulations to that again. And welcome to everybody from all around the world who's logging in today, tonight, this morning, depending where you guys are from. Again, it's always a pleasure to host this presentation with the founder and CEO of Utopian Global. Good evening to you, Bill. How are you?
I'm great, thank you, Claudia, and thank you for hosting tonight's call, and welcome to everyone joining us from different parts of this wonderful globe.
That is certainly the case. It's a beautiful world, although sometimes, especially in these times right now, there's a lot of things going around. But with that, we want to all be positive and certainly bring good news to you instead of, dragging on this negative news where there's already enough from this happening. And so I'm just going to give you quickly an overview about what we're going to do in this presentation tonight. In the first part of the presentation, we're going to talk obviously about our products and services and how they can help and benefit you. In the second part of the presentation, we're going to talk about for you guys who say, well, I really like what you guys are doing. I want to actually work with you. I want to build this. I want to make money from, of course, working and building this business. And then, of course, at the end of the presentation, we're going to have some Q&As for you. From people, of course, who are sending those questions to support, and as well, of course, live addressed to you here. So you have actually this little box. If you're on your phone or if you're on your computer, where you can actually type in, and we will then read out the question and we'll address this question. So this is what we're going to do tonight. And with that, I'm going to give this now over, of course, to our CEO of Utopian Global, Bill Rowell, who's going to actually present to you. So you have the pleasure to hear directly from him, which is always great. Bill, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much, Claudia. And can you hear me clearly?
Absolutely, I can hear you loud and clearly. So yes, you're coming across great.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, we're going to go through the presentation as Claudia actually stated. And at the end of the presentation, I'll be available. Claudia is going to be asking questions on your behalf. So any questions that you may have, you can be very direct, post them in your little control panel that you have there on your screen. But primarily, we've been around Utopian Global Gold and Silver Savings Programs have been around since 2008. So we're not new at the game. We have been providing members these precious metal services, going on to our 13th year, which is fantastic. And we've been through our second leg of the bull market, and I believe we're heading into our third leg of the bull market when it comes to precious metals. We're actually involved with people in over 130 countries around the world. But for people here on the call for the very first time, I always say to people, when you invest in businesses, you don't invest in buildings and shells and etc. You invest in people. So who is this guy, Bill Rowell, and what's a bit of my history? So I myself are from Melbourne, Australia, born there, raised on a dairy farm from quite a large family, actually. So I was brought up with principles of working hard for a fair day's pay. But early part of the 1980s, I realized that just working hard wasn't really the smart game. I love to work hard. I still work hard. But most importantly is to work smart and work efficiently. If you really want to be able to live a life of freedom, financial freedom, and a life by your design rather than someone else's design, you need to be able to take charge of your finances. And I realized that in the early years. And so I've been in business since 1986, for over 3 decades now. So it's quite a long time. My first business was in the hotel industry. I had 4 hotels over 20 years. I was also engaged in the network marketing business in the early 1990s, where I actually went to the UK, met the owners of a US-based large company, and got the rights to take those products and services to the German market, part of the European market actually, and that grew into a large organization generating a strong 6-figure income on the side. While I was in Australia running hotels, here I am having a business the other side of the world, making money while I was asleep. So what we're going to be doing with Utopian Global is really taking you through a bit of a storyline, where we are in the world today, what problems people face, but then to the solution. What can you do today that could change your life? I mean, primarily, we don't really have to speak about the problems. You already know the problems that are out there. We see them as we see them and experience them on a daily basis. But we're going to go through a bit of a concept, and towards the end, I'm going to show you 3 simple steps. To be a sower and to harvest, there's always a process to success. There's always a process to actually, an order of process to actually create wealth. And we're going to go through these 3 steps at the end. They're going to show you how you can turn this knowledge into cash flow into your bank account and also preserve your wealth. Now, here's me at the Argor Horizon refinery in Switzerland. This is probably, I don't know, I started working directly with this refinery in Switzerland in 2008. This might be 2009. It doesn't look much in that picture. Mind you, this particular refinery produces over 20% of the world's refined gold, primarily supplying much of the bullion banks around central banks around the world. They refine over 400, maybe 500 metric tons of gold per year, and there's only about 2,400, 2,500 tons of newly mined gold produced each year. Then you can get into, of course, the recycled and etc. But that's that particular refinery where we source our gold. But primarily, Utopian Global is really a simple concept, and let's not complicate this. It's about gold and silver. And we're going to speak about gold and silver, that it preserves your wealth. What is gold? What is money? We're going to speak about the store assets, why real assets, and we're going to speak about a program, which is step 3, where you can actually you can increase your income by commissions, and those commissions you can directly convert straight back into real assets such as gold, silver, and of course assets such as Raccoon Bend, which is our store equity token. But where are we in the world today? Well, 2020, I must say, going into 2020, into 2019, no one would have predicted where we were, where we are right now in 2020. How the world has changed, it's incredible. Many people have no money. They're burdened with high debt, living off credit cards. Many people were caught short this year. No one expected this COVID-19 or let's say, the policies that many governments around the world have taken to lock down pretty much businesses, economies, shut down people. I mean, Melbourne, Australia, Victoria, particularly Melbourne, Australia, has completely been shut down. I think it's their 14th week now. Business is primarily crushed. So it's very, very, very difficult. And for people who are not prepared, who are burdened with high debt and don't have savings, many people, of course, are in very, very difficult times. Many people have no assets. They do have some assets. Maybe it's the wrong assets in this particular cycle. And of course, many people live from paycheck to paycheck. And it's only through these unexpected experiences or storms that we have faced during 2020 that many people realize maybe I'm only 1 or 2 paychecks away from being bankrupt. This is the tragedy that we are in today and many people are facing. So this is really a wake-up call for us. I mean, this is nothing new. Things like this, cycles like this have been going on for thousands and thousands of years. You can go all the way back to ancient Egypt, the story of Joseph and the Pharaoh, where there were 7 years of prosperity followed by 7 years of famine. Same deal. The people who were savers at that time, who were liquid at that time, were able to take advantage of the greatest wealth transfer, and it's no different than today if you're in that type of position. So it requires the right mindset in these particular cycles. We're also living in a changing world. You know, jobs are contracting. There's no question about it. They speak about artificial intelligence, robotic labor. I mean, just think about the things when you go to supermarkets today, or you go into how your banking is done today, and many services that are done to even our cars today, taxis and trucks into the future are going to be fully automated. You won't have drivers sitting up the front and conductors at the back. I mean, even in Dubai, of course, the train system there is fully autonomous. No people at the front, no people at the back. People get on, people get off. We do not see any people driving or conductors looking at it. It's all fully automated in that respect. Just making sure that everyone's hearing me properly.
Yes, very good.
Okay, that's good. And of course, we know that you know, in years to come, many of the jobs, up to 40% of the jobs, are going to be actually eliminated. I saw articles on the Deutsche Bank, one of the world's largest banks. Of course, they've already laid off 5,000 people, and they're going to be laying off another 18,000 people. So the world is changing, and we must change with that. And one of the biggest paradigms, I mean, I was brought up with the concept that you need to have a good job, good education bill, which I didn't really get, have a good job bill, which I didn't really have at that time as well, and get a good income, and that's going to take care of you. The company that you work for will actually take care of you, retirement plans, pension funds, all those types of things. Well, it may have worked for your parents, or for most people it probably didn't, even for the grandparents. They worked very, very hard, probably for 40, 50 years, to retire pretty much broke. But they did the best that they could do in their particular time with the knowledge that they had. But we're living in a different world. The ruling paradigm is to work 40 years to retire on only a third of your income, which wasn't enough during those 40 years. Just imagine you're working full-time now, 40, 50 hours a week, and you're on a full-time income, and all of a sudden, the time clock ticks over, you're 65, maybe 68 now, or 70 when people retire, and your income has gone from a full income and drops down by 70%. How would that affect your life? I mean, it would drastically affect all of us, wouldn't it? It would actually restrict our freedom of movement, our freedom of choices. So we have to start to think differently. And now you're really betting on a good pension for retirement. I mean, why would you bet on a government to take care of you? Historically, they've never really done it, and in the future, it's not going to happen either. And we're living in a system that's not sustainable. In fact, I was born in the 1950s. So in the 1950s, for each person on Social Security or on a retirement pension, there was, let's say, 16 to 17 workers paying taxes into that to support that retiree or that pensioner in one particular sense. Today, there's less than 3, and between now and 2030, the next 9 years primarily, there's only going to be 2 workers producing income to pay into a social security system to support pensioners, etc. So truly, the system is not sustainable. So you should not back your life on that. Professor John Chauvin from the Stanford University said it's just not realistic to put to finance a 30-year retirement with 30 years of work. You can't expect to put 10% of your income aside and then finance a retirement that's just as long as your whole working career. And that's a bit of common sense. But of course, if you're on this call, and we have 16-year-old, 15-year-olds on this call, 25-year-old people on this call, you don't really think about retirement. But I can assure you, it goes like that. The great thing for you young people is that you have time on your side, and with the right knowledge, you can compound your wealth. And compound and leverage is the secret to really setting yourself free. Us older folks, of course, we have less time to compound now, so we have to make different decisions, different strategies. But this knowledge here is really, really important to understand. The other thing that's going on, of course, in the world today is savers are penalized. I can remember at the end of the 1980s, early 1990s, that if you had money in the bank, you're going to be getting maybe about 12%, 13% return on your money, which is fantastic. If you're a retiree, you had $100,000 in the bank or 100,000 euro, you might get 12,000, 13,000 per year, a passive income just on your interest of that particular money. Well, not in the world today. We see now, of course, many of the nation's policies is to have negative interest rates. You won't even get 1% return on your money. So you've been laboring year after year after year, taking your income and putting part of that income aside to save it. And when you put it in the bank, it's being penalized because now you're going to be charged for having money in the bank. This is what negative interest rates does. And we haven't even spoken about the effects of inflation, which we will do as we move through this particular presentation. And to give you an idea of the power of compounding and the effect of negative interest rates, let me just give you an example. Let's just say, I mean, every one of you people are on this call, including me, we want to increase our monthly income, correct? And let's just say that you wanted to increase it by a minimum of $50 or 50 euros or 50 shillings, whatever it is, per month. And you actually have an investment rate of return of 5%. Now, negative interest rates, you're not getting 5%, are you? In fact, you're getting negative, or maybe you're getting less than 1%, but very, very, very low. But at 5% return, just to get a $50 or 50 euro monthly increase in income, you need to have $12,000 or euros or that equivalent currency invested. So 12,000 invested at 5% is going to give you 50. And of course, 150,000 invested euros or dollars, whatever the currency might be, at 5%, it's going to give you an extra $600 or euros per month. And of course, if you wanted an extra 10,000 per month income, which all of us should be aiming for a minimum of, you'd need to have 2.4 million invested or assets equivalent of at 5% to get a 10,000 per month return. Now let's look at negative interest rates. Now I'm giving here 1%. Europe's also less than 1%. At 1%, you would actually have to have $60,000 invested to give you $50 per month. So for a minimum of $50 a month, I mean, for less than a couple of bucks a day, dollars a day, you'd have to have $60,000 tied up in that particular investment. And for $600 per month, which we're going to show you in our three-step system, how you can achieve that quite easily, and with very low risk, you'd have to have 750,000 or 750,000 euro invested at 1% to give you $600 per month income. And of course, 10,000 per month, you need 12 million. Well, if you had that sort of money, you probably wouldn't be on this call. Or maybe you would be for gold and silver and some of the investments. But the point I'm making is that the monetary system that we're actually engaged in is designed to take wealth away from you. And negative interest rates is also, it's negative. It's negative to you as the saver. But let's speak about a paper currency. It says here your currency is working against you, and we see a shredder. Primarily what that's saying is, to make a very clear point here, there's 100 euros, there's 100 Swiss francs, there's US dollars here, the Swiss francs here as well. Primarily, in less than 10 years, if it's 100 Swiss francs, or if it's 100 euro, it's going to buy less than 50% today, 50% by 2030 as what it will today. It's going to buy half. So your wealth has been shredded as we speak, day by day, but most people don't get it. And we see here Professor John Maynard Keynes, a British economist, and we live under a Keynesian economic system. So this is not me conspiracy theory. This is one of the world's most recognized economists in the system that we live under, telling us that currency destruction by a continuing process of inflation, that's our paper currency losing purchasing power, governments can confiscate secretly and unobserved an important part of the wealth of their citizens. There is no subtler, no surer means of overturning the existing basis of society than to debauch the currency. The process engages all of the hidden forces on the economic law on the side of destruction, and does it in a manner which not one man in a million is able to diagnose. Wow, heavy words there. Confiscate, secretly, unobserved, wealth of their citizens, destruction, and not one man in a million is able to recognize it. Well, congratulations to all of you. You know it, don't you? Primarily what they're really saying is, by design, our currencies, whichever currency there might be, it's designed to take wealth out of your pocket and simply give it back to the central banking system. And it does it through the effects of inflation, because you are trading time for money. You get up in the morning or go to work at night, whatever shift you're working, and you're trading time, you're trading energy, you're trading your professional services, and you're getting paid in the currency. You're trading maybe 50 hours a week of good labor, honest labor, and you're getting paid in something that's losing value over time. That is what we call unjust weights and measures. It's unjust. It's stripping wealth from you back to the central banking system. And once you understand that clear point, you realize that you've got to start thinking outside the box. And you put that together with negative interest rates on top of that. And really, if you think that you're going to be saving currency, putting it in the bank to create prosperity, you're just digging a hole for yourself. You'll be working very hard for many decades and pretty much going to retire broke. That is the reality of it. So we're going to speak about what we can actually do. Now, gold, I was not brought up with gold. I was only introduced to gold actually in 2003. I went to Zurich, Switzerland to meet a banker named Philip Judge. In fact, he messaged me just before. And I went there for two reasons. I was at the Grant Thornton Accountant's Office boardroom. Philip Judge is going to do a presentation to me on an energy fund and also on gold. And I had, up until that time, I'd owned 4 hotels, sold all of them. And I was wanting to actually invest some proceeds into some different assets. And so he gave me a bit of a, an education in how the financially elite invest. And he said, Bill, throughout history, rulers of empires, royalty, and the financial elite have always put part of the wealth. He said, maybe it's only 3 to 5%. Many professionals today say maybe it should be 10% of your paper wealth into physical gold. And he said the reason being is that it's a store of value. What do I mean by a store of value? I didn't really understand the concept back then. I've had to learn a lot in my journey, I must say. Many of you people on this call would know a lot more than what I did back in 2000. I knew how to run businesses, but I didn't know much about gold and silver, and I'd never bought any up until that particular point. And he said, Bill, throughout history, you can go back to Roman times of 1 ounce of gold, just like I have here, 1 troy ounce, 31.103 grams, gold. It would actually clothe the person. In those days, it would buy a toga and a pair of leather sandals. And he said in the 1920s, in the US, 1 ounce of gold had a fixed price of $20 US. So $20 US was a promissory note. In fact, it had written on the banknote, a $20 note could be exchanged for 1 ounce of pure gold. And of course, that would buy you a 3-piece suit, shirt and tie and leather shoes. And Philip said to me, here we are in Zurich. Now, this is 2003. What could you do with $20 today? And I joked with him and said, Philip, we just came from downtown Zurich and had some coffee and some cake, fine Swiss cake, and that cost us nearly $20. Now today, I was in Zurich last week, $20, 3 cappuccinos, no change. But the same ounce of gold exchanged into any currency around the world today is still going to give you a very fine 3-piece suit, shirt and tie. This is probably a bit over 1,000. So let's say it's $1,900 US as we speak. So it's still going to give you a very nice 3-piece suit, shirt, tie, and leather shoes. But of course, our paper currency is not. It's been losing value big time over that particular period. Here's another example, just quickly. US example in 1971. Big story in 1971. That's when the US dollar became unpegged or unanchored to gold, and all other currencies were pegged to the US dollar. But you could buy a medium-sized home in the US in 1971 for $25,000 US, or the equivalent of 720 ounces of gold, because an ounce of gold was pegged at actually 1971 it was $35 an ounce. So you could buy a house, a medium house in 1971 for $25,000, or the equivalent of 720 ounces of gold. Now in 2020, the same medium home today is not $25,000, it's $280,000. But if you've been diversifying your savings, maybe generational savings, transfer the wealth. Many of the financial elite transfer the wealth in the form of gold to the next generation. If they had 143 ounces of gold, not $280,000, but just 143 ounces compared to 720 in 1971, they could still, of course, buy this particular fine medium-sized home as they could have in 1971. Actually, they're a long way, because it's a store of value. You can see they're a long way ahead by building wealth in gold holdings versus trying to build wealth holding paper currency. And as you can see here through this particular chart, just quickly, gold has outperformed all major fiat currencies over time. This is over 20 years: the euro, the British pound, and of course the US dollar. And of course, gold's outperformed all these currencies over the 20-year period. Silver's also the same. Let's look at that. Silver in the 1960s contained, a silver quarter, like a quarter in the US in the 1960s contained actually real silver. Now, coins today don't contain silver anymore. That finished in the 1960s, of course. But up until that particular time, a US quarter had 5.6 grams of silver in it. And a quarter in the 1960s would actually buy you a gallon of gasoline. Now, I don't know exactly the gasoline prices in the US today. Maybe it's $2.50 or something per gallon. So you need a lot more quarters to buy the gallon of gasoline. But the same 5.6 grams of silver today will still give you that gallon of gasoline. This is why they call it a store of value. This is why gold and silver for thousands of years is called a precious metal, and it's been used as money historically. And you can see silver here has outperformed all major fiat currencies over time as well. The US dollar, British pound, and of course the euro. It's a store of value, it's wealth preservation. And at Utopian Global, we make gold and silver savings very, very easy and very highly liquid for our particular members. First of all, you can start saving in gold and silver from as little as 25 euros per month. For less than $2 a day, you can turn this paper, which is losing value, into precious metals. You can have 24/7 access to it. It's London Bullion Market Association good delivery gold. It's actually refined by the Argor-Heraeus refinery in Switzerland to 999.9 pure when it comes to gold, and 3 nines when it comes to silver. and we vaulted at the Loomis International Storage Facility in Dubai. Primarily, most of it is actually in Zurich, Switzerland. And of course, you could actually, anytime, if you've been converting your paper wealth into gold and silver, it's very easy. You can log in and you can liquidate very, very easily. So perfect example is Claudia. She's been with us since 2008. So each month, part of her commissions, she'll take part of her commissions, paper wealth, and convert it back into physical gold and silver month after month after month. Price averaging, doesn't matter what the price is. She'll always turn a bit of paper wealth because she knows the longer she holds this stuff, the less it's going to buy, correct? So month after month, she'll convert a bit of that into physical precious metals. And of course, we also do delivery as well to our members around the world. But if she decided to sell, she'd just log into her account and say, I want to sell an ounce of gold or so many grams of silver, whatever it might be, at the next London bullion market. Now it's evening here in Switzerland. So tomorrow would go to the next London bullion market trade day, and that precious metal order would go to the market, be sold at the refinery sell price, whatever that price is. As an active affiliate, that's what she would get, no fees charged because she is an active affiliate. Most importantly, she can take her commissions, convert it into gold and silver. In one sense, she's getting her gold and silver, she's getting her assets for free. But that's why we save and diversify in the gold and silver. It's a small part of our portfolio, but it's wealth preservation, it's long-term savings, and it's a great way to transfer wealth generationally as well. Let's talk about income-producing assets. The other reason why I was in Switzerland in 2003, I said I'd sold my last hotel, and I wanted to take, I didn't want to leave this stuff sitting in the bank, because what happens when you leave it in the bank? It goes backwards. We lose value, correct? So I wanted to put it to work. I didn't want to leave it in the bank. So I went to Switzerland, I met Philip Judge, and he introduced me to an energy fund, which he was the CEO of. And there was a team that managed the particular assets, of course. And as a result of meeting Philip Judge in 2003, he introduced me to Ryan Messer in 2004. Jay Stewart was a geologist, of course. Randall's also, he heads up the midstream today when it comes to store. And Mike Miglio is our lawyer out of Houston that's drafted, of course, the private placement memorandum document that you see in your back office. That's a legal document drafted by the law firm in Houston. But anyway, after Philip introduced me to this energy fund in 2004, I flew to America. I wanted to meet the team. I met Ryan. I connected with him very, very well. He was the CEO and actually of a public company at that time. I flew into Baton Rouge in Louisiana. I visited the particular assets. I liked the team very much, and I put a significant amount of money into that particular investment. So we've been involved with this group for a long time. This is just not a new relationship, and I'm just telling you something to sell you. I've known these people for a long time. In fact, starting in 2003, Ryan in 2004, and even Claudia she met Ryan in 2006, I believe, and became an investor in that particular fund as well. So in 2019, we started store and we bought a particular asset called Raccoon Bend. It was our first physical asset of many assets that we want to buy. Store is a remarkable asset with Raccoon Bend because it's a long-term, relatively low-risk asset. I mean, there's risk in everything, of course, and we've seen that this year, haven't we? I mean, if anyone wanted to be exposed to risk, you'd have to say 2020 would have to be a big year for that in that one sense. In many areas, whether it's real estate, whether it's equities, whatever it might be, 2020 has been a pretty challenging year for most people. But we're fortunate. We have a great asset here. Ryan had known about this asset for about 8 years. The management team are also part owners of this particular asset. It's 5,600 acres. I've been there a few times. I know Claudia's been there. Some of our members have been there, just like I did the due diligence. They wanted to go there and ensure that the asset's real. I mean, okay, this is only one pump head, of course, but there's 156 of those over 5,600 acres, which we couldn't all, of course, put into one photo. But it's a great asset managed by a great team, and it has a reserve life of over 25 years, which is awesome. But what I like about this asset, besides that, it's a 25-year productivity life, is that the ownership of it's over 80% owned by industry insiders such as geologists and engineers and things like that. So, I mean, the risk side, of course, is we have the oil and gas, but of course, fortunately, Ryan and the team had a hedging in place this particular year, which protected us on the downside. So this asset's been performing well regardless of our low oil prices this particular year. But now I want to move into, of course, we're all here you know, we've got assets and we've got some gold and silver. It sounds all very nice, but what we really need to change our lives on a daily, weekly basis is to get more of this stuff, don't we? Now, this is losing value over time. So to counteract that, what do we need to do? We need to increase our income, and then we need to be able to convert that income into some good assets such as precious metals and maybe some other hard assets such as, you know, Raccoon Bend businesses and different things like that, which come to the marketplace. So understanding your finances is really a key factor, because by understanding your finances and how money works, it's definitely going to affect your time freedom and your lifestyle. I mean, many people are stressed 24/7. They go to bed at night thinking of the bills they're going to pay when they wake up in the morning. Do they have enough money? And of course, they're not free. I mean, to be debt free, I mean, it allows you to breathe. I've been the other way. I've been burdened with debt, and I've been on the wall, my back against the wall, especially at the end of the 1980s, early 1990s, when interest rates were over. I was borrowing money from the bank, compounding loans, of course, at over 21% interest. So when you have businesses at that sort of rate, you're really in a corner, and you're really working hard, working smart, trying to keep yourself, your head above water so you don't drown in debt. Fortunately, I got out of it, but it was a great lesson for me. But it affected my lifestyle, it affected my health, and I certainly had no time freedom. So of course, with us, we want to teach you that you can work smarter. We need to think outside the box. And through my own experiences, this is why I love this industry so much. This is what I've been involved in. Even though I had my hotels, I've been involved in this industry in one sense since the 1990s. Now, primarily, most of us trade time for money. Now, there's nothing wrong with that in sense. If you're a nurse or if you're an Uber driver or whatever job or service you're doing, if you love what you're doing, it's fantastic. But primarily, there's some limitations when it comes to financial side, and that is you're trading your time for money. If you're trading 1 hour of your time for $20, you're doing 10 hours a day, or your maximum income you're going to earn, gross income that is, before the tax man gets you, is $200. Okay, you have a time against you. You can become self-employed, own your business, but for most people, the business owns them. They're working long hours. Many people are just, of course, earning a wage from that, and they don't have a lot of time freedom either. Or you can become an entrepreneurial type business owner, which is really what we want to morph into. We want to bridge over into that area where you're making money while you're sleeping. And this is what we really want to do with Utopian Global. And I learned this in the 1990s as a result of going through a hard financial times. I needed to think outside the box. I just didn't want to make money when I was running my hotels. When I put my head on the pillow at night, I wanted to wake up the next day knowing that I'd made some money, even though my hotel was closed. Even though you may not be doing your Uber driving, when you go to bed at night all the day, you want to know that there's a team out there doing things which is generating you a passive income. This is what we're going to speak about in this 3-step process. So are you ready to become independent in your life? It's a big step. It's not for everyone. It takes commitment. It takes persistence. Okay? It's a courage to step outside the norm. I always love Rollo May's quote. It's stuck in my head for decades. The opposite of courage is not cowardice, it's conformity. I must proudly say I'm a nonconformist, so I like that very, very much. Well, in one sense, to take charge of your life, I mean, total responsibility of where you are in your life, you have to become a nonconformist in one respect. You've got to accept responsibility exactly where you are today and responsibility of where you actually want to do. Then you're going to be willing to make the action steps to be able to achieve that. Not everyone's willing to do that. Sometimes it's just easy to get up and have someone else telling you what to do each day and maybe get this little paycheck each week or each month. That's okay. I'm not negative about that. We're all different. But if you want to become financially independent and really change your life, well, it means we've really got to change the way we do things in life. Now, there's 2 ways that we can make money with Utopian Global. One is you can, as a customer, you can be, as an affiliate, you can actually refer our products, and you can refer the business as well. You can be a customer or you can be an affiliate. As a customer, it's very simple. If you were referred to someone, for example, if let's say Sean had introduced me to Utopian Global, and I said, Sean, I want to be a customer. I want to get on the gold and silver savings programs from as low as $25 a month. I would certainly, Sean would help me sign up, and I would buy my gold and silver, and that would be it. Or maybe I'd buy my store assets as well, and that is fine. I'm just a customer, okay? Just buying products and services from Utopian Global. But if I want to be my own boss, well, then it's a different thing. We offer you a different opportunity, like Claudia, like Sean, like Zahir, and many of our members around the world have actually done. And what we do is we share our revenues with you. You are the marketers. You are the voice of our company. Now, there's two ways companies market products. One is you can do traditional marketing, where I hire TV, magazines, or that radio, or that type of thing, and you pay these people tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars over a year. Or the second one is you can just have products and services like we have, and we let you be the judge. You like what we do, you share it with other people, and by sharing it with other people, we send you the reward for the marketing because you believe in what we're doing. You see that you get your product and it's beneficial towards you. And when other people buy products and services from your referral, instead of giving it to some third-party company, we're going to give you the commission, okay, which you then can convert into, of course, physical assets. Now, I said there's a three-step process. It's a very simple concept if you want to become an affiliate. Step one is you've got to decide to become an affiliate, and you've got to buy an asset package. Step two, if you like what we're doing, we want you to share it at this stage with 3 people. That's it. Step one, buy a package. Step two, share with 3 people. And of course, we have a range of affiliate packages. Pretty much it's suitable for all people. For example, we have ranges of packages starting from 99 euros, the affiliate packages, up to 3,500 euros. Then we go into the higher content packages, which start to 9,000 euros, right up to the 6- and 7-figure numbers. Quite significant investment packages. And then, of course, we want to be able to get on our monthly asset accumulation plan. And we want to be able to earn from all our sales from our customers and our affiliates as well. Well, let's just see how that will work. Well, I said to you, step one is you buy your package. So let's say that Sean signed me up and I purchased a 390 euro package. Step two was you want to share it with 3 people, correct? When you share, whatever package you sign up with here, from 99 up to 1,500 euros, if you share it with 3 people, the equivalent package or greater in one sense, it means you've already got your money back. So the step one is you buy your package, and step two, you're going to share it with 3 people. You're already debt free, no risk to you. You've got your assets for free in one sense, and then you want to be able to build upon that in one respect. And these are the fast track commissions. You bought a 99 euro package. Let's say Sean, who might be my sponsor, he would get 37 euros. Of course, 3 times 37, he'd already have his money back if he actually purchased that one. But there's a big benefit for starting with a minimum of 390. One is you get bonus assets when it comes to store, okay? And even other benefits when you start at 1,500 and 3,500 euros as well, because you actually have more bonuses available for you on those particular packages. But the concept is step two, you refer 3 customers or affiliates and your business startup cost is free. For example, the 390 pack, you refer it to 3 people, you've already earned 440 euros, you're already cash flow positive, and everything above that is just money in your pocket. So that's very exciting. Step one, you buy a package. Step two is you refer it to 3 people. And then we have the quantum packages as well, which are the larger investor packages. Let's move on to step 3. This is the point that I love. When this was actually introduced to me in the 1990s, I just got it. I mean, I said to you earlier on, in the early 1990s, I owned my second hotel, huge amount of debt, huge mortgage, and the bank overdraft was 21.5%. Compounding interest too, mind you. So I was getting slugged heavy. I mean, I was in the boxing ring, had 10 of them just beating me down, and to be able to stay afloat in those circumstances was quite remarkable what the hotel could stand with that pressure on it. Well, what we're doing here is we're going to show you how you leverage your time. By leveraging your time, you leverage your income. And this is the key to setting yourself free. Leveraging your time, you leverage your income. And I'm going to go for this particular process now. Step 3 is that you get on the 50 euros per month asset accumulation plan. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, one is that all of a sudden you've made a decision that you want to become an affiliate. You bought your package. Step 2 is you referred it to 3 people. You're now debt free. Step 3 is that's your short-term income. Step 3 is you now want to produce a long-term residual income. I'm talking long-term, strong residual income. And you can do that from as little as 50 euros per month. And we're going to show you actually how to do that. We're going to show you the power of compounding. There's 8 ways to earn. Now, 50 euros per month is a couple of dollars a day, correct? It's not much. But I want to show you the power of compounding. Most people don't get this. when you talk to people about, oh, the program is going to cost you 50 euros per month, a couple of dollars a day, and you're going to get this, people think, how can that change my life? They miss the whole point. I can tell you right now, the gentleman that introduced me to this concept in the 1990s, he got me. I thought to myself, this is ingenious. I could see myself. I got a few of my business friends together. I said, guys, it was a nutritional company actually. I said, guys, and the minimum purchase was 150,000 Australian. I said, guys, there was 5 of us. I said, we're all going to put $150 a month into buying some products, the lotions and potions it was actually. They're good quality products. I said, you're already buying them anyway. Let's do that. Let's share them with some other people. We're going to get paid commissions, good commissions. We're all going to build an organization. And they got it. And they got the concept of compounding. For example, 1 cent a day, double, day 2 is 2 cents, day 3 is 4 cents. Pretty slow. Doesn't sound exciting. Day 6 is 32 cents. But as you build deep, as the compounding factor with time starts to kick in, the leverage is magnificent. This is the key that will set you free. If you're working, trading your time for money, and you're not using time leverage financially to your financial gain, you're going to work 40 to 50 years of your life and pretty much retire broke. I don't want to sound horrible about that, but that's pretty much the statistical proof. By day 30, you turn 1 cent into over 5 million, and by day 31, you'd have over $10 million, all starting from 1 cent. So let's see how that would work on our 50 euros a month plan. So let me just remind you. Step 1 is we bought a package. I don't care if it's a 99 euro package or it's a 250,000 euro asset package. Doesn't really matter. It's a package for all people. Let's say you did the 390 package and you introduced it for 3 people. And then you want to be able to teach those people to do the same. It's all about teaching them to do what you've done. You've invested in, you've shared it with 3 people, and you want them to get their money back as well, of course. And they're getting ownership of assets. Don't forget, you're getting ownership of asset every time you buy this, and it's only 50 euros per month. But as you build deep, as you can see, the numbers get expanded. This is your long-term residual income. Now, with 3 people, this is just a perfect mathematical example. And we know no one ever works like this, but this is exactly the way that you would actually be paid, okay, with 3. But let me show you the power by adding 4. If you just added 1 more person, instead of having 3, you added 1 more. With 3, you got your money back. Let's see the power of adding 4, the power of the numbers. And this is really what I love about compounding. Banks know this. This is why they charge you compounding interest. By adding 1 extra, you signed up with 3, you could add 1 more. Look at the power of the numbers now. Instead of being 8,000 a month, you're now on 54,000 a month. Just imagine if you're only 10% successful. Only 10% successful, you're still over 5,000 a month. I mean, that's significant game changing. And what are each of you doing? Each of you are buying a package, doesn't matter which one. You share it with 3 people. You're getting onto a 50 euro per month, which is also buying real assets, program, and you're sharing it with 4 people who are going to share it with their 4 people. And over time, you build a strong, deep organization. And this takes time. Same as I got involved in when I met the owners of the company in London to take the products and services to Germany. It didn't happen overnight, but over a few years, all of a sudden I was earning a 6-figure income passively. Other side of the world, I was living in Australia, in Northern Europe. I'm earning a 6-figure income on the side. I didn't hardly know any other people. It didn't matter. This is the power of this business nature, and it's relatively. Really, to be quite honest, it's 0 risk. Going to Starbucks every day and buying a Starbucks cappuccino is going to cost you more than owning a global business, of which part of that is actually owning real assets. A Starbucks coffee, you drink it, what asset do you have there? The asset that you had ends up in the toilet, correct? Not with us. It's either going to be, you have a choice of gold, silver, or of course store. You're getting real assets. Now let's look at the power of compounding to 5. Now I want you to think of 5. 5 is a good number. It's a strong number. You want to earn some good income? Well, you've got to get in there and you've got to sow seeds. A farmer never makes money by sowing 1 seed. And you want to build real wealth? Well, you've got to sow more than 2, 3 seeds. You've got to sow maybe 5 seeds minimum. Maybe you've got to sow 50 seeds to get 5 good seeds. That's just the way it is in the world, okay? But if you want to change your life, I'm telling you, this system works. I love this business model. And look at the power of just by adding 1, going from 3, you got your money back. Now building an organization, going to 4, then going to 5. Look at that income that you would actually be getting paid. Now this is exactly what you'd be getting paid if that's the organization that you built. But we know some people may sow 0 seeds. Some people will like it and just put the bag of seed aside and do nothing. Some will sow 1 or 2 seeds. Some will sow 50 seeds. Some will sow 10 seeds. But the point is, whatever seeds that you sow, it's going to harvest you a commission. When they start sowing, it's going to become exponential. That's the power of, this is the power of compounding and leveraging your income. And this is what you have to do if you want to change your life. So it doesn't matter where you are now in your financial situation, in your knowledge. It's a simple concept. Step 1 is you buy a package, get ownership of assets, share it with 3. You have your money. Step 2, you have your money back by sharing with 3. Step 3 is you build your organization and, of course, build your residual income. And, of course, you've been doing what Claudia has been doing for 12 years. You take part of your commissions, you start converting that directly back into gold and silver assets and back into store assets. That's how you build wealth. And you can still be, of course, working your Uber driving job, or you can still be a nurse or a teacher, whatever it might be. So it's a simple concept. 1, 2, 3. Buy a package, refer to 3, have your money back. And step 3, build your network and set yourself free with an organization for less than a Starbucks coffee per day. That's the important thing. It's very simple, very low risk, but you have to be a sower. If you're not sowing, you're not going to harvest. That's just the way life is. That's just the law of reaping. You have to give before you actually get. You're going to put the seed in the ground before you can expect to get a harvest. You're in business, but you're not in business by yourself. We have great support. Claudia does many training is pretty much every day in some part of the world. We have you get your business website, state-of-the-art back office, marketing funnel system, video and multimedia tools, coaching and training calls, events, an experienced executive team. We've been doing this since, as I said, we're going into our 13th year. I'm a licensed precious metal trader at the Dubai Commodities Exchange. Got my license here somewhere, just in case for new people on the call, in case you think I'm BSing you. That's not the case, excuse my technical term. So we are the real deal, and we want people to be able to sow prosperity into real assets and income. So the time is to get in. The time is to get in now. They say, when was the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. The second best time is now. You've got to sow. A disclaimer, of course, we're not offering you any financial instructions here. Go and seek your professional financial advisor if you're uncertain about certain things. We will pay out exactly as we actually showed you there. If you build that organizational structure, that's what will actually pay you. Store is not available in the USA, and of course we have a 14-day money-back guarantee. So if you put your toes in the water, you buy a package. If you don't like what we have, within 14 days, I don't care if you bought a 99 euro package or a 100,000 euro package, you'll get 100% of your money back. And I can look into the camera while I say that. Okay, but only if it's within the 14 days. Don't come to me 6 months later or 3 weeks later and saying I want my money back. No, the terms are 14 days. We're fair, but we're firm. You have to be responsible for making your business decisions. John Maxwell, the great leader, coach, said you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. So convert one of those Starbucks coffees into a business each day for less than $2 a day. As I said, you can build an organization, get ownership of real assets, and very, very strong cash flows. So with that, Claudia, I'm going to pass it back over to you for any questions.
Thank you, Bill. Great presentation, and yes, certainly showing us your what you value and how you, of course, achieved really, really great success, which of course I can just acknowledge that because the way, and some of the new listeners on the call, they don't know that. So I met you, of course, in the company I was working in, where you were a very, very extremely successful top income earner, very, very part-time, as you said, through the power of leverage, the power of team. And so this is why you're so passionate. You can really hear it when you present the business opportunity. And the thing is, it's really, we are living in a changing time right now. So you have to look at a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, as we said in this email, because let's face it, the world has changed the last 9 months. It really has. And with that, of course, it's up to you. You got to take action. Are you happy with where you are at your life? What would you like to improve? If you had no savings, well, or if you, let's say, with your savings, how long could you actually live or basically live from? You got to ask yourself all those questions. And if you're not happy with the result, well, then you got to take some action, and in most cases, some massive action. So, because at the end of the day, you know, you're, as I always say, responsible for your own life and for your own circumstances. So you got to make that decision and not blame other people, or blame the economy, or blame whatever and whoever. You can only blame, put on yourself for making the action or not making the action, of course. So Reggie is asking here on a question, anything what you can do to encourage the USA bill, the United States of America, that is, of course.
No, Reggie. Now let me just emphasize that you think it's a strange answer, don't you? You know, there's the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. You're either a sower or you're not a sower. Now, if you've been on this call and you listen to this particular presentation, now, if you're in the US, you have the ability here to get involved with a leverage system. You get ownership of assets. In fact, the US, you have a choice of gold or silver, don't you? Now, why wouldn't you? You just, and I said earlier in the presentation, we're entering into the third bull market. So why wouldn't you want to convert a Starbucks coffee that would cost each day to be involved in a monthly asset accumulation plan that you can build an organization and build a cash flow? I mean, you're either a sower or you're not a sower. I'm not here to twist people's arms. You've either got to wake up or you stay where you are in life. I mean, I had a choice in my life. I grew up on a dairy farm, no silver spoon in the mouth, okay? You either stay where I was in that environment, which was fantastic actually, but it wasn't for me. I wanted to experience different things in my world. So I went out and started sowing myself, okay? And I encourage each of you, it's no judgment here, but if you want to change your life, as it says here, John Maxwell says it's spot on. You and Reggie, you know who John Maxwell is very clearly. You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. Convert a coffee a day, which is about 50 euros per month. Actually, it's less than that, actually. Actually, it's more than that, I should say. Into owning a global business, and you get ownership, you get asset ownership in that. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, it's a simple concept. Step 1, step 2, step 3, make money.
Yeah,
pay your bills.
And you're gonna keep it simple as well. So don't make it too complicated. Now you're living in the United States, and of course, well, we know what's going on right there. I mean, I just put up today a really great interview of Jim Rogers. What is he talking about? I mean, when you listen to the video, what is he talking about? Mainly, of course, gold, silver, outside your owning gold and silver. Then having assets outside your domicile. Well, when you get involved in Utopian Global, what do we have? You have gold and silver, you have assets outside your domicile. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. It's exactly what the legendary Jim Rogers talks about. I would send this to all my prospects, have them listen to it, most definitely. Because especially, of course, for your folks in the United States, really for everybody, but especially for your folks over there. I mean, this is key. The dollar, any currency goes backwards. So they have to have gold and silver. We offer the best platform. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer, I would say.
Well, Jim Rogers is a great example. Actually, I like Jim very much. I think he's in his mid-70s, mid to late 70s now. He's a guy that's been an international investor, contrarian investor. He's certainly a non-conformist, that's for sure. That's driven around the world twice. He headed off in the 1970s with his car and had a special trailer. He drove around the world. He's done that twice. So he's a man that's, he lives in Singapore. He's lived in Asia for decades, actually. He's an American, but highly experienced. And it's a great interview. It's only a 30-minute interview, I think, but a great interview and insights into a very experienced investor and why gold and silver and why you should think outside the box, and also why you shouldn't trust a government, any government, because historically governments change things. They make changes generally that don't really benefit most people. That's all about taking the wealth back from you that you've been earning, or maybe your grandparents have been earning, and transferring wealth back to the central system. He speaks about this quite clearly in this particular presentation. It's a great webcast from Jim, actually.
Bill is a funny question here, actually, from Paul Fordham. Hey, Paul, I hope I don't call you out, but so I'm gonna say the question out because it's an interesting question, and yes, we will, of course, prove you wrong. He's saying, I'm confused and I don't want to appear rude, but this sounds like a pyramid scheme. Apart from marketing material, what is someone is getting for a package? Please make me believe that I'm wrong.
Well, it's a great question, actually. It's not a bad question. Every question is a good question. Well, first of all, in your package, you're getting delivery of assets. Before you can buy any product, with Utopian Global, one is you're either taking delivery of, you're buying gold and silver, which you can actually sell back at any time, or you can take physical delivery. We're sending our products every week to different parts of the world. We can't ship internationally to all countries, of course, as some countries don't have the infrastructure or the safety to do that. FedEx won't guarantee delivery. And when it comes to store, you have a legal document drafted by Mike Miglio, our lawyer in Houston, that says that you actually are the owner, shareholder of an asset in Source Rock Energy Partners, which is of course the natural, asset of Raccoon Bend. So it's like a shareholder. You're an equity holder in that particular asset. But it's a good question because you need to be able to do your due diligence. The other reason why it's not a pyramid, number of reasons actually. Actually, everything is a pyramid in structure, but primarily I think that the point you're trying to make is that you're just seeing it as a program. You're selling a concept, taking that money and paying the next person above you in commission. That's probably the way you're actually saying that. But first of all, in the 50 euros per month asset accumulation plan, 40% of that goes towards a physical asset, whether it be gold, silver, or of course store. 10%, €5 goes to the company, and 50% goes to commissions. Okay, so out of the 50 euros per month, half of that goes in commissions, because what we want, this is part of the program. It's an affiliate program. We want to be able to help our members around the world increase their cash flow, increase their income. Now, you might say, well, 50% is significant. No, it's not. If I buy a Coca-Cola, and more than 50% of the cost of a bottle of Coca-Cola goes in marketing. In fact, if I buy a bottle of water in a shop, let's say for $1, the contents of the bottle may only be less than 10 cents. Then you've got the packaging. The rest of it's the distribution and the rewards or commissions it pays out to the retail person. So we're no different, but because with this type of concept, people think it's a pyramid. Okay. The other thing why it's not a pyramid, Claudia has been with us since 2008, so she probably has one of the biggest organizations there. You could come in today, Paul, and because we pay, the way our pay plan is actually structured. In fact, it was designed by Mike Sheffield from the Sheffield Resource Network in Scottsdale, Arizona, one of the professionals in this particular game. And we can't pay totally unlimited, otherwise the company would go broke, correct? And you've got to pay for the asset, you've got to pay for the product, the gold and silver, those types of things. But the way it's designed is, Claudia's been with us for 13 years, and she has a certain organization. She doesn't get paid on 100% of that organization completely. You could come in, you could be below her in one sense. You could build an organization that's bigger than her and earn a greater income than what she has. In fact, when I was in the network marketing game in the 1990s, when I took to Germany, we had 53,000 members in our organization. Claudia will tell you that was people below us that earned more money than what we did. So if it's a legal pay plan designed properly and a product that has a real product and real assets there, it's not a pyramid scheme. But if it has no product and just the commission and the money that you take from the product is just going to the company and commissions upline and that's all it is, it's certainly a pyramid. And if the people above and people below don't have the opportunity to earn more money than the people above, it's a pyramid. But that's not the case with us. And the best place to get the interpretation of if it's a pyramid or not, go to the website 45second.com. It's the numbers 45second.com. You'll see a guy that's been in this industry. He's a bit of an icon, actually. Don's in his 80s now. In fact, we just had a call with him the other week. He wrote a book, The 45-Second Presentation That Can Change Your Life. Now, on the 45second.com website, you can download 4 or 5 chapters for free. I encourage everyone to read those 4 or 5 chapters. I think it's like 30 pages or 40 pages or something, but it'll give you an insight into the power of this industry. And just one last thing on this industry. I've been involved in it since 1990s. and with real companies, that is, not scammy companies, is this industry, and if you go to the direct sales records in the US, it turns over about $200 billion a year in revenues, and about 200 million of that is payout and commissions every day. So you got an industry that turns over about 200 billion a year, like industries, retailing, but because they don't use third-party television and radio, and they don't use these other companies to market the products, they use the people to market their products. $200 million of that on a daily basis is pushed back in commissions to the people who use and trust the products. Now that, to me, puts the power back into the hands of the consumer. And if you don't like the products, well, you're going to be negative, and you're going to say, Bill, don't buy those products. You're going to say, Paul, don't buy those products from Bill. He's a scammer. He's full of BS. You won't get your money back. It's a self-regulating trust system in one sense. So I love this industry for the sense that we put the power in the hands of the retail section, the marketing, back into the hands of the consumer. Either you like us or you don't like us. You have an experience. If you don't like us, you won't use us. That is it, and you'll share that dislike with other people. But if you like us and you share it, you're going to get rewarded and you're going to get your assets. That's just the way it works.
Thanks, Bill. Yes, I mean, that is, of course, true. So pyramids are actually illegal. And of course, in a pyramid, there is actually no exchange of goods or of services. And so obviously, we offer products of the highest quality and, of course, have, you know, customers who are actually purchasing, who wanting them as well to purchase those products and services. And especially right now, I mean, gold is a big deal. So everybody wants to get gold and silver. I mean, central banks buying it, governments buying it, right? So no, definitely that is the case. But Paul gets it now. That is good. And if you have any questions, Paul, you can also just send an email to support@utopianglobal.com. That is support@utopianglobal.com. And any question, no matter what, they can of course answer you as well. So no worries there. Now, sometimes when emails are being sent back, we understand they are landing in spam. So you got to always check your spam as well, as a little advice, because this is, you know, sometimes happening as well. And now regarding the link of this great interview I was mentioning, actually, from Jim Rogers, we can actually we can put it also, Bill, you can let support know that they put it on the maybe Facebook page there, so that people can watch it, because it's a really good one. Now, there's different groups for you, Erica, there of where different things are posted. So the lives are going to YouTube. So they will be on YouTube stream. So you got to basically be a subscriber of the YouTube channel, and you will then see them, or you get a message as well when Utopian Global is live. Yes, so that you don't miss that, you just need to, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel at Utopian Global, and you will see the live there, and then you will be able to share that as well. Any more questions I see here? So here it says we have the vehicle that can set you financial free, real genuine business. Absolutely, Sahir. That is so true. And let me just go for some questions. I see more. Okay, Reggie was asking for the new product in the United States, but Bill, I believe you touched a little bit on that. This is coming soon. All right. Well,
actually, let me just respond to Reggie quickly. Oh. Sorry for may have misunderstood your question, yeah. Reggie. Well, coming soon. It was coming soon. It's not coming so soon as we expected right now because of hold-ups, but it's still there. And when it comes out, it's going to be great. But it doesn't matter. You have what you have now. You have something that's very powerful now. Step 1, step 2, step 3, sow seeds, grow and harvest. That's it. That's what you've got to do to change your life. So with that, I want to thank everyone for showing up in today's call. And as Claudia said, any questions that you have, certainly put through to support@utopianglobal.com. So thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, Bill, and thanks everybody for listening to the presentation, and I hope you're going to share it with a lot of people, yes, get them started. As Bill said, the time is now. With that, I'm going to say thank you and goodbye to everybody, and I see you on the next call.